Hello, I'm Deborah McDermott. Doing these past few videos has been a very interesting experience. There have been some positive comments for which I'm grateful. There have been some very nasty ones, especially privately on my private messenger. And this has resulted in me wanting to explain myself, possibly over-explain myself, because I feel that my motives have been misunderstood. So I just need to clarify a few things as far as timelines are concerned. I left as a student from the Colorado campus in April 21, and I knew my son wanted to go to Caris and be a student when the time came for him, and I did not project my concerns onto him so that he was free to have his Caris experience. We did approach it with caution, and when he did become a student in September of 22, he just avoided certain people in certain departments, and we hoped that would be safe. He did his first year and graduated in 23, and he enjoyed his first year. He had a good experience, and he was happy to go back in September of 23 to do his second year. When my son returned for his second year at Caris, he immediately noticed a change in the atmosphere. He felt that the students were under constant surveillance for any real or perceived infringements of the rules, and that the noose of control and manipulation was tightening while love and joy and compassion was diminishing. He felt that a lot of the ministers coming to minister at the chapel hours every week were bringing with them their own slant on theologies, which was becoming very confusing from a theological perspective for himself and some of his fellow students. And then there was the apparent arrogance and hypocrisy that he felt he was seeing in the leaders/celebrities. And that's when he decided to leave Caris in December last year. It was when he came home that the pressure, from my point of view, the pressure was taken off as far as the way I looked at the ministry and the college, and I allowed myself to think the unthinkable. And that's when the dam burst for me, and I started getting a lot more clarity, which is why 2 weeks ago I realized that for many years now my family and I had been promoting this ministry and the school simply by virtue of sharing our testimony with so many people. And I realized that I did not want to promote it to people when the ministry itself had not put any processes in place to protect the students. And any ministry of this size and scope that doesn't put in processes to protect the students, it stops being an oversight and starts being a strategy, in my opinion. And so I felt the need to warn people that there were potential dangers of leadership with power and authority to abuse that power and authority in these schools. Having received and read a lot of these messages, I'm trying to think of an analogy to explain my situation and how I believe things explain what I see. Bearing in mind that from my point of view, I'm not an enemy of the ministry. I'm an enemy of the enemy of the ministry. And this is the only analogy I could think of, and I hope it helps people understand. Imagine there's a virus that goes into a person's body and spreads, multiplies within that person's body, but is undetected by the immune system. So the person feels no symptoms and sees no problem. And then they have their annual checkup. The doctor is able to identify that there is a virus rampant in this person's body that is still asymptomatic, but the doctor then prescribes medication, says to the person, you have this virus in your system, and the medication will be uncomfortable, but it will kill the virus. And the person gets angry with the doctor because they have not felt anything or seen anything. And so they take their anger and frustration out on the doctor instead of confronting the fact that there could be a virus in their body that is going to affect their health. So I just need to reiterate that I'm not an enemy of the ministry. I'm an enemy of the enemy that I believe is corrupting the ministry, which is resulting in a lot of vulnerable people being potentially harmed, misled, and people's faith being damaged and people's hearts broken.